Good evening or afternoon or whenever the hell you're watching. Welcome to AIWF Ringside Wrestling. I am Mad Matt Carter, being joined by Commissioner Rick Diesel and Halls of Famers Brian. I don't know how I messed that up already. Off to a great start. Brian and Reagan Danzig are here. Good to have you guys back. I did the best I could last week flying solo. Did anybody get a chance to watch the show? And be honest, how bad did it suck?
Haven't had a chance to watch it, but I got to get it put up on the Roku, so it'll be handled.
Going on the Roku, Brian.
Which, by the way, if anybody hasn't noticed, Money in the Piggy Bank is already up on the Roku this weekend.
All right. I thought I saw it there, but I didn't know if it was like 2022 or not.
No, it's this year.
All right. So good news for our YouTube folks on the Ringside Wrestling channel. That means the fan cam clips can go up now. So be on the lookout for those. All right. So
yeah, we're trying our damnedest to control Matt Carter's spoilers, but
speaking of which, I need you to let the archive people know, Rick Diesel, if you'll tell them I'm all but ready for the next episode of Mid-Atlantic Live whenever they want to send it over.
It's coming.
All right. So
it's been a hectic weekend, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, here's the weird thing. When the wrestling text and messaging channels are quiet during the week, I assume everybody's swamped doing other stuff related to their shoot jobs. So I do not start messing with people. So, but anyway, good to have you guys back. I was not at the show last night, hence none of the no clips that I have to share with you guys, but tell me how things went. It was kind of a mystery going in what was going to happen. And I know Joe Harrison was scheduled to take on Jack, but that's about all I know. So I need you guys to kind of fill all of us in that we're not able to make it yesterday. What did we miss?
Oh, well, I don't thought he was
about to say, wow, it must have been a horrible show.
Rick was going to go for it. Let's see, we started out the show with Ironhead Matt Anderson coming and saying, since it was a TV taping, that he should definitely be on it. And so we had a TV title match. And then we were introduced to Ring War Carolina's tag team, the Rustlers, who did quite a bit of havoc in the AIWF last night, to say the least. And then we saw the debut. Well, not really the debut, but we saw a change in JT Moss.
Yeah.
So in JT Moss. So
JT Moss, I mean, he was a former member of, what do they call Rick?
Viva Las Amish.
Viva La Amish.
He was one of the originals.
Yeah.
Yes. And he has had quite the midlife crisis-ish, maybe.
I don't care what it is. I like it.
I like it too. I like it too. Yeah,
so it sounds like he turned on somebody and has got a new attitude, probably.
Not really a turn per se. We did our TV taping last night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was our first time doing doing a TV taping and doing the matches and having that format. So we had a lot of stuff go on there that now that Rick has disappeared, I don't know how much he wants me to delve into it, and he's missing. So I don't want to ruin anything, because these shows are going to start coming up on the Roku channel. They're going to be dropped once a week over the next 4 weeks, and then extreme content will drop after these 4 episodes on the Roku channel.
Awesome.
Yes, because we have a process now.
Thank God. I am all for processes and stuff like this. And what I was going to say, Reagan, and maybe I should say, not being there last night, I can't give away any spoilers, but for you wrestling fans, we've been working on formatting the show at the live event in a way that we could shoot it like live to tape, sort of like they did in the old territory days. And so when you see,
We got a kick-ass producer now, so
so when you see it as a wrestling fan, the way you're watching it, it's filmed in sequence. You're not seeing matches out of order. Like if you come to the live event and then watch the show on the Roku and then YouTube when it comes out there, it's gonna look just the same and with more stuff. You're gonna be able to see the backstage stuff. So it's gonna make sense.
So the show format is, and if you come to a live TV taping, the booker was comparing it to how Ring of Honor used to do their TV tapings. He was saying that it's very similar. So what you'll see is you'll see a match, you'll see matches, you'll see promos, and you'll see at the most 2 matches per episode, correct? Yes. And then whatever happens in between those matches, then at the show itself, you'll have like a pause, and then we'll go to the next episode. Right. And so we'll have content that's released, so we can really build up that fan base on the Roku channel because they're having consistent good shows every week.
Yeah. If you were born before the Monday Night Wars and remember how wrestling was done when it aired mainly on the weekends and syndication and stuff like that during the territory days, that's kind of what we're going for. If you're younger,
well, and there's also backstage stuff that happens too that the people at the show don't see, but they can see when the episode comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. And we're still working out the issues. There were some things that that didn't work, and then there was like a real long pause in between. So I am now what is my title? Assistant AIWF Network Producer.
Yes.
So I am the one who
she has a lower third and everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I was also, because Kevin Phoenix doesn't want to show up when things aren't conducive to whatever is going on in his life.
Well, he can't use the Righteous Gemstones as an excuse because that's getting ready to come out. So they wrapped shooting that months ago. So
it's up to me sometimes to go out and I say I have some pretty brilliant ideas. So I helped move some Ty Tyson stuff along, which was good. So
let's just say when she produces, she takes control.
Okay.
And it does run pretty damn smooth.
That's the idea. Nice and smooth. Don't film shit out of sequence. I hear, if you listen to Arn Anderson's podcast, and he talks about the early 90s in WCW, how confusing it was for the wrestlers because they filmed a lot of shit out of sequence. And like that's I'm very superstitious to that. So, you'd film stuff that wasn't going to air for a month, and it's just it can be messy. So I'm glad to see this coming around. It's kind of been a dream of mine. So I think of everybody on this show, really. But anyway, so let's not hit that. We got a lot of stuff to go over here, but I wanted to get started with the slideshow first and welcome you guys to. Can you see the slideshow? No.
Yes.
Yes. All right, cool. So
yes, sir.
Welcome everybody. The controls not wanting to work for me here. There we go. All right. It is June the 11th. Welcome. Glad to have you with us for this episode of Ringside Wrestling. You can find myself, well, not me. Well, I run it. The AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling on Instagram, and you can follow us at Diesel247 as well. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. And not only are there entertaining wrestling videos, there is wrestling clips and wrestling factoids I put there. If I've run across videos of random people doing stupid shit and getting hurt, and could be wrestling related, could not be wrestling related, you could see it there as well. So, anyway, Dangerous Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament last night. Did we have any matches in that tournament? Have we moved it along? Okay, talk to me about that.
Next round will be at stream content.
Okay. So are we gonna have we had one match? So was it on the left side of the bracket? Are the winners from last night gonna do the Fight the Fighters Club? Or was it on the other side of the bracket? Or do we know?
What? No.
No. Okay.
I don't know why, but there was not any tournament matches last night. Was there?
But there was some setup.
Yeah, there was. We were getting ready. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was a match.
Yeah, there was a match.
Was there?
Who
Yes.
was in the
It was
match?
the Black Society versus the Rustlers.
Wrestlers, and they had the big reveal of who was going to be the tag team partner during that. Whoo, Rick, Lord.
What? Yeah.
But yes, we had so the Black Society and came. It was both Ryan Mantis and oh God, I want to just admit that I say this all the time. My memory is terrible because of wrestling. So it was Black Society. They wrestled the Rustlers, and then
Was that a tournament match?
Yes.
Yes,
That was a tournament match.
because now if you've seen Ty Tyson's Facebook page, you'll see
Yeah.
that he is now sporting a Black Society T-shirt.
Mhm.
I did
Yeah,
see
he has
that.
now become a member
So he is,
of
yeah.
the Black Society.
So he's in that with Ryan Mantis and who else?
Well,
Lazarus,
he'll be what?
Lazarus, something like that.
But it'll be in the tournament to be Ty Tyson and Ryan Mantis.
Okay, because they've teamed before with
Yes.
great success.
The-
So
Because apparently what they said is that the Ryan Mantis and his partner now had gone through some issues, and that's when him and Ty were tagging together. And now he's saying Ty, he gave Ty the rights to take on the next qualifier in the Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament.
all right. So that's interesting that we bring that up, because that brings me on to my next slide. The reason Ty Tyson is able to engage in all this tag team turmoil is we have a new AIWF World Heavyweight Champion. I believe Rick Diesel, didn't this take place last weekend? Golden Boy Greg Anthony defeated Ty Tyson.
Dyersville, Tennessee, I think it was.
Was it Dyersburg?
I can't remember.
That would be the hometown of Ron Fuller, I believe, Dyersburg, Tennessee. So
I know it's about halfway between Memphis and Nashville.
Yeah, that's a good little haul then. So Ty Tyson has been released, and that looks like a new title belt right there that the Golden Boy is holding on to.
It is.
That looks nice. I'd love to see that in person. That looks great. A lot of new title belts coming out in wrestling these days. WWE's changing up the title belts. We've got a new world championship title belt here in the AIWF, so that's really cool. Been a lot of talk. There's a lot of titles out there. I'll say that, and I don't know. I've got a rant about that, but I'll save it for another day. Anyway, coming up not this weekend, but 13 days from now, not this weekend, but next weekend, Beer City Bruiser is coming to AIWF Mid-Atlantic to do a seminar from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, June 24th. That's all part of Extreme Content, is it not? Or am I
Yes.
Okay, yep. So Beer City Bruiser will be there. Your invited wrestlers, managers, referees, you're all welcome to come. Beer City Bruiser has some credentials. He's been to Ring of Honor, so he's wrestled at the big shows and knows what he's doing. So this is not, and I think this is a very affordable seminar. Most of these things run $60, $75, but Beer City Bruiser is not going to, break in two here, $25, and it's a seminar. So I don't think he's going to want anybody, have to do a little wrestle speak here. I don't think he's going to want anybody coming that's green. You need to have some experience and have gone through training, right? This is sort of like,
Right.
like if you were a Baptist, this is a tent revival in the summertime, right? This is not your first day at church. So, so,
Right, because this guy, he's a former AIWF World Heavyweight Champion. He's held belts in Ring of Honor.
He was quite the tag team clinician in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
well, he's teamed with Mid-Atlantic champion Jack in in AML, I believe, as well. I thought I
Mhm.
saw a clip of that. So, but
He was he was Jack's trainer,
Mhm.
and he's trained a lot of Fighters Club members and some other guys that have wrestled in AIWF Mid Atlantic, and everybody that has been mentioned that he has either trained or been a part of their training is somebody uh, has a very high skill level in wrestling. Now, everybody that they mention, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're good, they're good, they're
Mhm.
good. So anybody that has been trained by him or had or have done seminars with him in the past, I've seen them wrestling and been very impressed with his work.
Yeah, absolutely. So come on out, $25, 1 p.m. Don't be late. And join Beer City Bruiser for the big wrestling seminar. And of course, later that night, it's Extreme Content Saturday, June 24th. This event started, I believe, in 1998 or 99.
88,
98.
98, 99. I can't remember. Which.
Yeah, one of those. Helmet. And the first one was so violent, we almost had a fatality. So, boy,
Was that the barbed wire on the wrists on the
Yes.
arm match? Was that the first Extreme Content?
yes, it was. And it was almost the last.
That was the one that Louis Theroux from the BBC was so worried about the guys in it. He actually came back to my house and said, "Hey, how did the guys do? Is everybody make it okay?"
Well,
That was the first one happened during the filming of the Louis Theroux documentary.
oh wow. I don't even remember them being there. I just remember
That would have made it 99.
that would have made it 99. Okay, so the
Yeah,
first one was in
I think.
99. So somebody else besides me can do the math and tell you which one this will be, because it's 2023 now. And but anyway, the next Extreme Content, this is always a fun show, guys. Cannot encourage you enough to make sure you join us for this.
We're going
year,
to start releasing match announcements this week.
Yep. I cannot wait. This event always is great. It's very stipulation heavy if you're an old school fan, but that's why it's Extreme Content. Just pretty much you're going to see like 90s style ECW at this show. I mean, it's going to be wild. You will have a good time. Believe me.
Yes.
It's always a lot of fun, but it is wild. So
it'd be better than a Clint Black concert. I swear to God.
How can it be better than a Clint Black concert? I would think that's pretty tame.
It wouldn't be compared to this. You can burn the building down in a Clint Black concert. It won't be as wild as this.
Well,
I already
there's
bought
an inside joke.
Oh, so bought tickets.
So we just found out that Brian and Reagan are not going to be there.
Well, I'm not going to be there.
Brian will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was funny, Reagan. I seem to remember you hating country music back in the day. And no,
I'm a huge 90s country fan. Huge. Like, I went and saw Garth Brooks last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like new country, but I'm a pretty big fan of 90s country. So
yeah, I like a lot of stuff from the 90s too. I didn't even know Clint Black was still touring till you bought those tickets.
I thought he was dead.
Well, I didn't think he was dead. He was always seemed pretty healthy, but what?
He said, well, he wished harm on Clint Black. So.
Well, I admit I did say that a heart attack would be sufficient, but then I changed it to a flat tire on the bus. I'm okay with that thing.
What's your problem with Clint Black? Did he like fuck?
I don't even know nothing about Clint Black. All I know is he's taking my producer away from me.
Oh,
it pisses me off, and I'm jealous.
I figured maybe it was like a jilted lover type thing, like like an old girlfriend, blew him behind the stage or something, and you just hadn't been able to get over it, But
wait a minute, I'm thinking.
Oh mercy. Okay, so before we get off on a blowjob tirade, because it's coming, I can feel it. The wind is right for dick jokes tonight. Speaking of
Speaking of dicks,
the great Iron Sheik, man.
Yes.
This is the night he won the WWF Championship in 1983. There he is with Freddie Blassie. We lost Sheiky baby this week.
Yes, we did.
And it's a huge loss. Every kid that was maybe, I don't know, between 5 and 10 years old in the 80s when the WWF action figures came out, you know, the whole rock and wrestling around the first WrestleMania. We all remember the Iron Sheik. He was a big part of our lives. I knew who the Iron Sheik was before I ever saw him on TV because of the action figures and the toys and the cartoon on Saturday mornings. You know, what did they call that? Hulk Hogan?
Rock and wrestling.
Yeah. And that's what got me interested in wrestling. And my dad was always like, well, if you like watching a cartoon, you ought to watch the real thing sometimes. It's pretty good too. And so the Iron Sheik passed away, but boy, he lived a hell of a good life. I will say that, a wild life. And the weird thing about the Sheik is, even though he was only champion about 3 weeks in WWF, I mean, he was security for the Shah of Iran back in the 60s, I want to say. Then he escaped and came to this country, was an AAU champion, coached at Minnesota, I believe the University of Minnesota. I don't have the fact sheet in front of me, but I know he was a wrestling coach for the Olympic team. And then he got into pros and he went through the territory system. As a matter of fact, if you dig on YouTube, you can find video of the Sheik wrestling in the 70s with no mustache and he still had hair. It wasn't much. And he was really strong. He was, I don't want to say thin, but like, you know, he wasn't the Sheik that we knew in the WWF, you know,
Right.
But he could suplex people all different kinds of ways. He was a great amateur. He did well in the pros. He knew how to get heat and was not afraid to get heat. The man was pretty much fearless, you know, and then when he put on the turban and teamed up with Nikolai Volkov, I mean, things just went wild there in WWF for a few years, but he really became a pop culture icon, I think, long after he retired, thanks to Twitter. Because that's what got me on Twitter was Vera showed me the Iron Sheik's Twitter page, and I thought it was the most hilarious fucking thing I'd ever seen. And that night I signed up for Twitter and have been on it ever since. And the Sheik was still, up until last week, his Twitter account was populating stuff. I mean, I think a day before he passed away, he posted "fuck the Hulk Hogan," you know. And so what a great guy. And I just wanted to get you guys, if you've got any thoughts on the Iron Sheik that you'd like to share with the audience, because he was definitely a legend in this sport.
I met him one time on a fair show. It's somewhere in North Carolina or South Carolina. I cannot remember. It's way many years ago, 25, 30 years ago, something like that. But I met him at a fair show, and we stood out back, you know, during the matches and just talked. And he was hilarious.
Yeah.
And what you got on Twitter was him, because I mean, it was just like he was very foul mouthed and very, you know what I'm saying? That was him. But that's the only time I ever met him, was that one fair show. We was standing up behind a horse barn or something. I can't remember what it was.
He's probably the greatest heel of wrestling. I mean, it probably, maybe not like technically, but like, when I mean like well known in the non-wrestling world, I think he was well known. Like, people thought, you know, face Hogan, heel Iron Sheik, you know, even if you didn't know anything about wrestling whatsoever, you knew about him and stuff. So watching him twist those
the clubs,
those dumbbell things.
The
clubs. Oh my gosh. Like, those were insane. So
the Persian clubs. I have found a video of when his infamous trip to Howard Stern back in 2010, And if you've seen this before, you know what's coming. But I wanted to share it with this audience. But I want to give a disclaimer before I start this. I'm gonna play some clips, and I'm gonna be selective with what I do. But there's some really strong language in here, some really offensive language in here. So any of you buttercups out there, just leave now, because you're gonna get your feelings hurt. But this is some fun. This is some funny stuff, man, and it just kind of encompasses. Rick Diesel was just talking about the same guy you got on Twitter is who you got, in real life. Now, this is the Howard Stern show. Now, keep in mind they brought the Iron Sheik on there, and they have told him all kinds of crap. Howard has filled his head and told him that Vince McMahon signed something named Iron Sheik Jr. That's imitating him. That's got him riled up. And then they say they want him to talk with the Ultimate Warrior, who the Iron Sheik famously had a problem with.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this was not the real Ultimate Warrior, but the Iron Sheik didn't realize that. And well, what happens at this point? Like I said, I want to share the sound with you and put up a picture of the Sheik if I can find one, another one, and we're, because I don't want to get busted for copyright on YouTube again. So just hang tight, and I'm going to roll this clip for you. Share my screen. Here's the little thing. I'm going to hit play. Let me make sure the volume's not too loud.
Officeman for that.
Well, let me tell you who's here. On our satellite,
Who do you have?
Ultimate Warrior. It's for first time face to face, you and Ultimate Warrior.
No,
that's water.
What is
Give him a
that
beer.
you're
Give him a
giving
beer.
him?
What is
Can
that
he-
for
he-
fucking faggot?
What
beer?
No.
Bring the man a cognac or arak
You
or
try to
whiskey,
give him
American
water?
whiskey or beer.
Hey, Sheik, talk to the Ultimate Warrior, but don't get crazy. Talk to him. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's finally get this. Maybe you can be friends again with him. Ultimate Warrior.
No,
good.
don't say that, Albert. Please, I love you.
Ultimate
I
Warrior.
don't want to be friends with fag.
Look,
Iron
there-
Sheik! Iron Sheik, it's the Ultimate Warrior. I'm sick and tired of what you've been saying about me in the media, calling me a faggot. I am the true champion. I will fucking beat your ass anytime, anywhere, when the moon and the stars and the planets align. I will beat your ass.
Now talk to him.
You
calmly.
didn't do it 25 years ago in Georgia with my Persian club. I beat you. Now, you want to come challenge with me in the arm wrestling?
Your Persian club,
You
the
are
joke.
faggot. What's the Hulk Hogan?
The camel clutch.
Tough.
The camel clutch.
Look
is
at
the
He
joke in
shaves his
wrestling.
chest. He shaves his chest, Sheik. Look
Because
at him.
if he's a fag too,
What kind of man?
Oh my God, I put this this on my
you know he
face.
wants to be fucking.
You might have to skip this one.
I'm tired of that. I've never touched a cock. I've never seen another man's cock. I don't know what gives you the right to think that I'm a faggot.
Listen, all Encore magazine, New York, and all the boys WWE, they know that's because you lost the face. You left the Kennedy McMahon Federation.
that is
You are a
bullshit.
cocksucker, no good son of a bitch.
You are the son of a bitch. I will beat you
All right,
anytime,
thank you.
anywhere.
I was hoping you.
Okay. Wow. This Sheik, I saw that years ago, right after it happened. And if you want to see that, folks, you can go on YouTube, and it is the Iron Sheik makes, type in Howard Stern first, and then the Iron Sheik makes his first in studio appearance, part 2 of 2. But it's like an hour-long interview. And it's calm at sometimes, and they're talking about wrestling, and Howard sharing his, when his grandfather took him to out on Long Island to see wrestling when he was a kid, and how much he loved the Sheik and everything. But as you can see, that went sideways pretty quick.
Hey, you might have to put one of those disclaimers on this one.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, well, that's why I warned everybody before I started the clip. Like, it's good. This is gonna be a rough ride, y'all. So, but anyway,
Anybody like the Ultimate Warrior? Like,
no, I don't hear anybody of the wrestling community that has the podcast now really like the Ultimate Warrior at all. Now, the one, then they bring on a guy impersonating the Macho Man, and that's actually even worse. Some of the insults that get hurled on
My
that one.
God.
So, like, even that one's so bad, I'm just like, have to start it at a certain point after a certain word.
Too
you
much
know?
work.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but I wanted to
How
share
can it
that.
be worse than what he just said?
Oh, it can be worse. Believe you me. Go on YouTube, watch the clip for yourself, or just type or search Howard Stern Iron Sheik versus Macho Man. That's how I ran across the clip this morning. I remembered it happening, but I was just like, I gotta share something really outrageous with the audience this week, because we had such a short show and no guests, and all I could do was share some Japanese women screaming at each other last week, which
I missed that.
Me too.
You do all the good stuff when we're not here.
well, it was the same thing. It was Asuka and Io Sky cutting promos on each
Oh.
other in Japanese, and I got popped for it on YouTube and had to trim it out. But
Uh,
Oh, really?
but the uncensored version is still on the Mid-Atlantic Facebook page from the original live feed, so the audience got to see it. It was a lot of fun. But I didn't realize Io Sky called Asuka a piece of shit about 5 times on network TV in Japanese. And I wonder if it's like that everywhere. Like, if I went on TV in a Spanish speaking country and just, did a rant like the Sheik just did, call the host a no good cocksucker in English, would I be subject to broadcast laws? You know what I mean? Like, can you get in trouble for that?
Well, I think in other countries they're not as strict about. I think like America, in particular, is very uptight about their language and nudity and stuff like that. Whereas in other countries, that kind of thing is just it's a lot more. They're a lot more lenient. I mean, I'm sure
Well,
there's
also the
some
phrasing.
countries.
Phrasing is different.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
and then certain words don't mean certain things.
Right.
I'm not gonna
That's kind of what I
say-
meant. Yeah.
I'm not okay. I remember something in particular with Martin Poison.
Mm.
He was referring, and I'm not gonna say the word because that's an offensive word. I don't like that word. I won't say it. I don't
It's-
like it.
For
But
the
what you
audience,
Use a
call-
British accent when you say it. It's okay.
No,
it's the
he
C
called
word.
his cigarettes.
No, it's the F. It's a 3-letter F word.
It's the word that the Sheik just used, but cut in
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, but that's the proper use of the word. That's what
I know, but what I'm saying is like it's just different in different places. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Martin was telling us that it means cigarette. It's like a cigarette.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just remember hearing him say it over and over and over again. I'm like, what in the hell is he talking about? And then
Yeah, I mean, he walked up to me outside a show one night and he's like, "Hey man, you got a fag?" And so I handed it to him. I knew what it was.
Well-
I may be a hillbilly from Virginia, but I've read some shit. So I mean, I knew what it was. But he also told me that if you can drop an F-bomb, you can say fuck on British TV, no problem. But if you say something is bloody anything, that can get you fined. And you can get away with saying bloody in this country because it's not.
It means something different. It's just
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but any any British person that I work for a guy named Raj who grew up in the UK, and if he said something was bloody anything, you knew he was really pissed off. That was like a signal that the person was angry. So I'm like wondering, do you get a pass from the FCC if you swear in Japanese because nobody is going to be able to, the casual viewer is not going to be able to understand you? And that's what it seems
I'm
like.
not sure what the rules are
Well,
as far as the FCC.
I have actually, I'm going to say yes, because I watch 90 Day Fiance and most of their stuff is people that are speaking other languages. And I have seen them blur out and put the dots when they're speaking their native language and saying curse words in their language. So I have seen that on TLC.
Mm.
Yeah, but I don't think the FCC regulates language on on cable. It's just the airwaves. I think it may just be a decision that that the channel makes because they don't want to offend people who are watching in those countries. I think a lot of censorship is done, especially on cable. It's done by either the show or the channel itself.
Well, you remember when FX first come out and everybody's like freaking out over some.
Yeah, that's right. Because what we do in the shadows uses a lot of language.
God, I love that show.
I did. Mm-hmm. This is actually funny because we've been watching Smoky Mountain recently in the past few weeks.
Oh yes.
And Tracy Smothers called somebody the F word that the Sheik was just using, and even Dutch Mantel was like, "Are you allowed to say that on TV?"
And that was the early '90s.
Can you say that on TV? And I was like,
Smoky Mountain was edgy even for its time. I remember watching it when it was, happening and thinking, God, man, this promotion is cool, but it's dark. I mean, the storylines in that promotion were really dark. I mean, I still think that to this day. And people are like, Smoky Mountain, you mean Jim Cornette's Hillbilly Wrestling? Dark? Watch it.
Well, the thing about Smoky Mountain, I'm kind of on the fence about it because I've watched the episodes and we discussed this last night. They've got some good wrestlers, but some of their stuff is just like their stories were very cheesy.
And every match had the most convoluted stipulations ever. Like they had a baby bottle match. They had a tar and feather match. They had, what were some of the other ones? Like,
did they do dog food out there? That's a big Tennessee thing.
See, that's what Cornette says on his podcast is they did all that shit that was popular in Tennessee.
Yeah.
It was done on purpose because people liked it. So.
And they influenced a lot of the indie shows out there that still to this day, because they still do a lot of that stuff because they follow Smoky, because that was their little territory out there for a while.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain, is Tennessee, Kentucky, and the mountains of North Carolina, actually.
Yeah, 4 years that thing was in business.
And some West Virginia stuff. And a lot of the Tennessee groups follow Smoky Mountain's lead still.
Yeah, and the thing, I wish I could find it. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't. We were watching an episode where Tim Horner was wrestling Tracy Smothers.
I think so.
In a tar and feather match. And Tracy Smothers gave, whatever you believe about Tracy Smothers' gimmick, whatever, that's neither here nor there. But like his promo was so good. And then they did Tim Horner's, and he went on, and it sounded like he was going to come all over Tracy Smothers. Like everything he said sounded just like he was getting ready to lay a load on Tracy Smothers. And Brian and I were watching it, and we were just busting out laughing. Even
worse than that Magnum TA promo we played a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it seemed like he wasn't meaning to do it. Like Magnum's, you could tell it was on purpose.
He's like, I'm gonna come all over you as hard as I can, and because what got me watching was Brian showed me Tim Horner singing Shameless, which is by far the best thing and the worst thing I have ever seen.
A fun fact about that, Reagan, when Rick Rubin saw that, he told Jim Cornette if he ever put anything like that again on the wrestling show, he was pulling the funding.
Oh, wow.
It infuriated Rick Rubin.
Oh, my God. It was, Brian's like, here, because I am a huge Garth Brooks fan. And so I guess we were watching some NWA and Tim Horner was on. I was talking about how, he's a great wrestler. Promos, terrible. And he's like, well, you need to watch this. And then he showed it to me, and I was and then I need to watch, because I know Jim Cornette has a shoot video. Did we watch the shoot video about it?
Yes.
And we watched the shoot video that Jim Cornette had about it. And it was just like, oh my God. But but that's what got me, because I'd been just watching NWA, but now I've switched to some USWA from like their mid 90s. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know what really got you was that opening from Smoky Mountain.
The one with the song? The one with the song?
Oh, yeah, and showing the mountains and the logo coming in. You know that hooked you right there. And hey, now first off, don't go comparing us to them because they had a lot more backing than we do. We're not supposed to be very professional, but they had a big TV show and studios and top name talent and all this stuff. So they could at least done a little bit better than that.
Well, they had Rick Rubin backing them, but Cornette had to find get that stuff produced, all on his own. I mean, Rubin was sending them money, but he wasn't helping them in any other way. That was kind of a one-man show. Well, two-man, really. It was Cornette and Sandy Scott. And then,
So is that how he got to use so much copyrighted music? Was because Rick Rubin was behind it?
No, you could get away with that back in those days.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
The reason,
no internet.
Yeah, there was no internet, and Smoky Mountain Wrestling did not air on one of the major networks, right? It was always on, in Martinsville, it was on WSSV channel 57. So it's telling, it was on low powered stations most of the time in the middle of the night or late on Saturday night, except in Knoxville. But, I think that's how they got away with it. Because if you remember ECW in the mid-90s, they had played copyrighted. They showed videos at the end of ECW with copyrighted music every episode. Things have changed. And then Napster came along, and then Lars Ulrich, and Lars, you fucked everything up for everybody, you piece of shit. But anyway, no.
Hey, when Metallica sold out, man, it brought the whole thing down.
Yeah, that's like it's like buy a ticket to see Metallica. You're gonna have to pay me $500 to come haul them off. No way I would see them now. Ever since then, I still carry that grudge. But anyway, it's a
back in the day when it took you all day to download one song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh mercy. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and pay some bills before we run off our sponsors, if you hadn't already, with that Iron Sheik clip. Premier Auto Detailing is a car wash and auto detailing service available in the Mount Airy, Surrey County area.
Yeah.
They can help you out with an old car that you had up on blocks in the yard for a couple of years, and you finally got wheels on it, and you'll take it to town. This Saturday, they can help you clean that up inside and out. They'll even scare away the spiders for you. Also, they do fleet service. So if you are a used car dealer and you need cars regularly washed, as you sell them and stuff like that, they can help you with those type of things too. We say hands down the best car cleaning service in town in the Mount Airy area. You can give them a call at 336-883-5722. That's 336-883-5722. Excuse me. Tees Tree. I'm ahead of myself. Tees Creations, custom apparel. They can do custom made sweatshirts, t-shirts, hoodies, tumblers. You can see they do the front license plates too. You visit their website at teescreations22.com. That's no punctuation. It's all together. teescreations22.com. They can do the custom shirts, if you want to do shirts for family reunions, stuff like that. They can handle that for the football team, for the softball team. They can handle all that stuff for you, and they've got pre-made designs too. You can view it all on their website. Again, teescreations22.com. You can also find them on Facebook, but I find finding them on Facebook quite difficult, to be quite honest with you, Rick Diesel, because there's a lot of variations of Tees Creations out there on Facebook. But
all the same person.
I'm not sure. Some of the groups are actually closed, so that's what
she gets a little
I got
spastic
it. I know it. It's Tees Creations by Allied Apparel.
Okay. Tees Creations by Allied Apparel. Well, I'm not going to edit the slide right here on the air, but I'll try to remember that. Tees Creations by Allied Apparel, and you can visit their website, teescreations22.com. It's got the information there for you to call or email them, and they will be glad to assist you.
Yep, working on me a cat tumbler as we speak, hopefully.
if you'd like to join us on the sponsorship thing, man, we do it real cheap. We're putting a headlock on high advertising prices. You can get reads just like you just heard here for only $10 a month. We'll put the slides up and everything. These programs air on Facebook Live on Sunday nights when we do the show. They go up on YouTube on the AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel. They also air on the Roku channel.
They do now.
If you can find a better bang for $10 a month, more power to you. But I don't think it exists out there.
If you find a better bang for $10, it's probably going to give you crabs.
Exactly.
Oh Lord. Are we gonna?
And don't say, "Oh, I can go to Vegas," and no, you can't. Not for $10. You know, because
I'll let you know at the end of August.
You go to Vegas in August?
Supposed to, yeah.
Oh my God, man! Do you know how hot the Mojave Desert is in August? I don't, but I imagine it's pretty fucking terrible.
I've been in June and it was hot as.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in August, and
fire.
last time I went in August, it was 112 at midnight.
Yeah.
So,
And people say,
Matt, you want to go?
I got to do 2-week leave. I don't know if I can. It's
Oh, yeah.
Cauliflower Alley because I'm going to the Philippines. That's probably going to be the
Yeah.
last vacation.
I
I think
supposed
you
to be
should.
going to
I think you should pay
Cauliflower
for
Alley.
your production assistant to go.
You want to go? Come on.
What depends on. Is this dependent on if you get your YOLO box back?
Oh, you know what? That little shit.
That yellow box is still not returned, Dave.
I know.
Anyway, the channel's here. You can reach out to us. Look, it's on all these platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We'll mention you everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. I don't think we're on iHeartRadio. I don't think they put us on. But everywhere else has got us. The audio version, we got to figure out something by the
We got
time
to figure out how to get on iHeart. That seems to be everywhere.
I mean, I'm on everywhere else. I submitted the application. Last time I checked, they had not replied. So maybe they just don't want us.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, they're a pretty big deal. But anyway, we're on Apple, Spotify, all the regular places you find the podcast, the audio versions there. And we know we're going to try to figure out some way and find the time to make the audio content different than what you're seeing here on Facebook.
What the heck was that?
What?
What was that?
It's my cat's tail.
Oh, I was like, it's stayed just across the damn screen. Okay.
My big cat.
I was like, Brian, put on some pants.
That's
It's not big and long like Lamont.
oh wow. But look, as somebody who's been using Zoom and Teams to do meetings for almost 2 years now, that cats walking in front of cameras is very common. It's like they know that you're having a conversation with somebody and that you can be seen and they want to be seen too. You know, it's just in a cat's nature. It wants attention at inconvenient times. But yeah, I've seen a lot of cats buttholes over the last 3 years in Zoom meetings. So believe me, if somebody has a cat and it's an indoor cat and they have Zoom meetings every day, your coworkers will find out very quickly you're a cat person. So another thing that's been kind of going across my mind this week, flying around the social media, is WrestleNomics and people are dogging AEW about ticket sales, and it's kind of been funny watching the back and forth on the internet. You know, I love it. I love the toxicity of the fans battling back and forth. It's like wrestling with Jerry Springer. But I ran across something because I was doing my own research. So I decided to go on Ticketmaster because I don't believe that a lot of the trash talk, because it's so overwhelming, you know. But I did notice a strange anomaly. Everybody knows that AEW is launching a new show called Collision. That's going to be Saturday nights on TNT starting in a couple of weeks. It might be starting next week. I don't know. CM Punk is going to be on it. And they're going to run on Saturday nights, which I think is great because I understand, you know, you get people at home from work for television. Wednesday nights is great, but for families wanting to do an activity together, Wednesday night is not good. If you've got little kids, I mean, can you I mean, is that even realistic these days? Taking them to like Raw or SmackDown, something like that, on a Monday or a Wednesday or Friday. I mean, Friday night, that's not a school night. I mean, I could kind of see that, but it's like, so WWE moved their pay-per-views to Saturdays, and Collision is going to be on Saturday. And I think that's great. I think it's going to help their live attendance. I think it's going to help the boys get bigger paychecks. So, but I went on Ticketmaster, and let me see if I can get this pulled up here. I'll share it with you. I just noticed some strange anomalies, and I wanted you guys' opinions because Ryan, Dean, you've been in wrestling longer than I have. And so let me see here. Okay. So here is the map for Collision on Saturday, August 5th, down in Greenville at the Bond Secures Wellness Arena. Rick Diesel, we went to a TNA show down there a long time ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
Can you do the ones where it shows the seats though?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in just a second.
Okay.
But what I wanted to do is just explain to, like, if you're not familiar with Ticketmaster and buying tickets to live wrestling events. Okay, so what they normally do, you see down here where it's section 114, that's probably where the hard camera is, right? And they're gonna have their video and production stuff along the floor here. All right, so generally they will not sell this section for television taping. They might give away a few comp tickets, but usually this side is going to always be empty. The camera shoots toward this side, which is where your seats are. And this is what they've opened up so far. And you're like, well, that's not many sections of the building. Well, they're not going to open up a bunch of sections of the building until they sell these, right? It's just smart business, right? All right. So let's look at section 102 right across from the hard camera. So if you're in section 102, if you're anywhere where all the seats are already sold out, you're going to be on TV, right? Maybe even way up here a little bit. But notice the prices: $80 plus fees. Okay, all right, that's reasonable. $80. Okay, all right. And so I go over one section. So this would be to left of your screen. $80 plus fees down low. As you get up higher, 80. Let's go up a little higher. 80. Okay. 80, pretty consistent, right? Go over here, right of the screen. 148.75. Wait a minute. This same row over here, 80.
But it says something different.
It says official platinum.
It's different. It's got something with it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're paying and you're going to get to go to the little place where you can get snacks and drinks up at the top of the Coliseum.
Well, let's find out. Let's act like we're going to buy this ticket. So I just clicked on it and I click official platinum. The event organizer has priced these tickets according to their market value. Tickets do not include VIP packages. Availability and pricing are subject to change.
Now, are these recent? Okay. Now, my other question is, are these tickets that are Ticketmaster, are these tickets somebody bought?
No.
And now they're selling them.
No,
so what is this? What is this blank section here in the middle?
This right here?
No. Over on the side, like that where you're hovering. What is that?
That's probably like a walkway or a service area or something in the arena. There's probably stairs on either side and a railing.
That's where that's how you get out of there to go to the bathroom or get a beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is really weird. Okay, so see down here, $334.75 plus fees, right? And over here, 80.
Well, what is it? See, that's what I don't understand about the platinum, because the other says standard.
What about here on the corner? What are the corners?
All right, now the corner right here is $60.
60. There has to be something. Even I'm gonna say, I bet that instead of it being why they're saying it's not VIP, because it's when people think VIP with wrestling, they think that means meet and greet.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe these tickets come along with access to like something else, like I said, I won tickets to see Journey, and with those tickets came I win tickets to shit all the time.
I noticed that you win more tickets than anybody ever. Why are you not playing the lottery?
I don't know. I let Brian do that and we lose.
Mm-hmm.
But like maybe maybe that's why maybe you get, so when I got those tickets, it came with access to the Coliseum's club, to their like flow club. So
Well,
maybe it's that. How
it
much are
could-
the floor
it could-
tickets?
It could be. I'm going to move on to those in just a second. I will tell you this. I went last summer to an Allison, or last fall, to see Allison Chains over here at the pavilion over here, PNC Pavilion off of 485. Nice place. I go over there. I've been over there so much I almost know the security guards on a first name basis. I mean, we actually waved to each other. But we sprang for some real expensive seats down front, like 3 rows back from the stage, right? Because I want to, I don't want to sit in the cheap seats if I don't have to, and I wanted to be close enough that I could feel the damn, when the sound comes off the speakers, that little wind it makes, I want to be able to feel that, right? And I want to be partially deaf when I leave. So we signed up and they were official platinum. And there was some sort of disclaimer I didn't pay any attention to on Ticketmaster. But about 2 months after the show, a couple of posters show up in the mail, hand-painted posters with the tour dates on it, right? And if you don't believe me that they're handmade, then I think I just pulled out my headset. Hang on, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, they sent us a couple of hand-painted posters, and we got them in frames now, but you can take them out of the frames. You can feel the brush strokes on the poster. And they said that they did like 400 or something like that for this tour. So that was a nice surprise. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe they're going to send them a poster or something autographed, it could be. But you asked about,
it says like platinum, it makes some kind of distinction, but like I said, it's not saying that it's VIP, but it is making some kind of different distinction for that section.
All right, wait. Okay, let's see. Hold on a second.
See, and they're more expensive than the floor seats.
yeah, look, ringside, this is 4th row back or 5th row back, $100. All right. So let's see here. Let's go across the way here. $100.
Hey, what's
Right,
that
so this is
second row over
this
here
is-
next to the aisle?
This is Ticketmaster's. What are
Whoa.
the platinum seats? They're not resale tickets. It says the goal is to give fans fair and safe access to the best tickets while enabling artists and other people involved in staging live events to price tickets closer to their true market value. For events where they are available, please note that official platinum seats can only be purchased online. And the price you pay is the original price of the ticket. So I don't know. That doesn't give
That's a
any
bunch
kind of like reasoning.
The only thing I can think
It's a bunch of corporate bullshit is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
to me.
but what it sounds like, what it almost sounds like is, we don't want you to sit there. We want you to sit over here in front of the camera.
Oh, I bet you, I bet you too, those are the comp seats for not for fans, but for corporate people. So they make it more expensive, so average Joe won't buy it. So Flow Auto can give away those tickets.
Well, these right here, I think this is curious. $632.50, and then let's see here, row 4. $100.
Now, is the $632 resale?
No,
That's
it's
official platinum.
yeah.
But see, that would make sense. That would make sense because that's first and second row where people are giving away tickets. So, so if a radio station was to buy them, they buy them and then give them away. And then they have the good seats that average Joes can't get. You think?
It might be. I don't know. But all right. So
I'm thinking from that language, it sounds to me like they're saying this section over here is the real price. The section over here is cheaper, and where it's cheaper is in front of the camera. So it's almost like an incentive. It's like, well, if you want to sit there, you can, but we're going to charge you a lot more to sit there. We're going to charge you full price to sit not in front of the camera.
if you want to sit over here and look at the stage, Those tickets are only $20. Okay. Now you've seen Bon Secure Center down in Greenville, South Carolina. Let's hang on. Let's go see if we can. Was that Bon Secures or was that Greensboro?
That's Greensboro.
I
Here.
think. All right, here is Greensboro. Yeah. Okay. So this is different. All right. So as we go into the Greensboro Coliseum, here you go. Hard section 109. Same deal. All right. And there's the available seats. I don't have the resale feature turned on. So let's zoom in here and take a look across from the hard cam. And this is what blew my freaking mind. Remember, they were okay, $80. And then right here, $288.
So
$306.
Reddit users say this platinum tickets just mean that Ticketmaster is charging you more for those seats because they think they're the best seats and price gouge you because they can.
I believe that.
I was
Yeah.
so I guess those are the ones Ticketmaster has decided are the best seats because they don't take into account where the hard camera is. They're taking into account, from what I'm gathering, that's where the best sound is if it's at a concert, or the best view, like maybe.
Could
I don't
be.
know.
But
Interesting.
now Greensboro, I look at the difference, like 306 and then 60. Okay, that's about the same as Greenville. 60. A lot of these have sold since I looked at this first yesterday. I think they're going to have to open up some more sections in Greensboro. But look, this is not even directly across from the hard cam, and we're starting to get up row GG. Those are actually decent seats. 205.25 for that building. Let's see here. This one here, 183.50. Let's go up a couple more rows. See when it drops back to 80. Okay, right there. That one dropped back to 80. So that's 80. Let's see where the line is. 80. Row JJ, that's where they increase. They go up to 183.50. And then row HH 194.50. And then down one more row to GG 205.25.
Where's Justin Flash sitting?
Justin Flash
always sits right in the front. Ask him how he does it.
I'm not, don't say it. Yeah, don't tell that on this show, please. You might not be able to do that again if we spill those beans. 216, 252. As you get lower, they keep going up about $50 every
I
row.
would not pay that much money to see any wrestling.
No.
None.
No,
Even none.
Apparently, some people will.
I wouldn't pay that to go to WrestleMania.
No, me either. And I wouldn't go. I'm too old to go to WrestleMania anyway. 2 days sitting on those hard chairs for 4 hours.
Annie and Chad have been twice.
Well, more power to them.
Yeah,
Now here's if you've ever been to Greensboro, you know I'm not lying when I say a crummy ass ringside seating right here, especially on this side. And section B on the floor is $60, and that's too much for those hard ass chairs. I mean, would it kill you to put some padding on those fucking chairs
and to not push you in so you're touching people?
Yes.
Best seats I ever had were, we went to a Nitro, and we were in. Now that doesn't sound like great seats, but we were at their entrance on the very last row, right by the entranceway. Those are the best seats I've ever had.
Like up here.
I'm not sure.
Like we're at the entranceway.
Oh,
like
you
that back row.
Down on ringside. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the best seats I ever had because you got to see everybody come out, like, and you were just right there with them and stuff.
Anyway, but that's going to be on a Saturday night. I'm just saying, I think it's kind of hard for, a family of 4 to be able to afford $183 seats. They're going to be sitting up here in the $60 section, which, is not unreasonable compared to WWE prices. I don't guess. It's just, I find it kind of strange. Here are $60 and then one section over. And this is a Greensboro Coliseum, right? So the difference between this section and this section is not that much.
And there's no bad seats in the Greensboro Coliseum.
I've had a few.
I mean, except at the tippy top.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like on those levels.
No, downstairs is pretty good. Upstairs, not so.
Oh my God!
I
Vera
tell
and
you,
I went to an Unforgiven at the Greensboro Coliseum, and we were on the very last row at the top.
ugh,
And that was terrifying.
yeah,
Terrifying.
yeah.
Now,
You feel
those
like
were terrible.
you feel like you're gonna fall out of the seat and just fall down to the floor. I've never been in the balcony at Greensboro, thank God, because it always just looked too scary. And back when I first started going to Greensboro back in the 80s, before they renovated it, they had an escalator that would take you up to the balcony level that never worked. It was just stairs, but you could tell at one time it was an escalator, and and there was pipes dripping. It was quite messy before they renovated it in the early 90s,
But we sit here and we talk about the price of these tickets, like, oh my God, look at the price of this ticket, look at the price of this ticket. But look at how many gray dots there are on that map.
Yeah. Now they haven't opened up any of this stuff. This is just the lower level. So they've sold all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now some
at
of
those
this,
prices.
yeah. Now some of this you have to have promo codes to unlock. Like if there's a credit card involved with it and stuff like that. But I don't think I'm on any. I'm not on any mailing list that AEW sends out any promo codes on.
You know what? This is gonna make me sound like an old fogey. Do you know what I miss? And I may have already told this story once, but I don't know. I'm gonna tell it again. Back in the day when me, Vera, and Annie were following WCW around, we bought a tent and camped out at LJVM so we could get Fall Brawl tickets when it was the Horsemen versus the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed all night in a tent, and we were like, not that far behind. And it was just the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. And that's just gone now.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Thank you, Internet.
You can't, you have to know somebody to get good tickets. You have to win tickets. You have to do all this stuff when back then it was just three girls who wanted to see the NWO camping out and hanging out with other wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Waiting. And we didn't and I'm gonna say we didn't get great. So we got okay seats. We were on the risers. On the where it starts to get like this, like the floor, and then here. We had good seats comparatively, but that's just that doesn't happen anymore, and it's sad. And that's my old fogey thing of the best time of my life was following WCW around. So
let me see. Oh, I'm still sharing my screen. Let me go ahead and get off of that because I'm going to check the comments section here. Let's see.
People are complaining they want Dave Sparks back as commissioner.
Probably his family.
They make a good point. They make a good point. Kevin Phoenix Cochran III never shows up.
Well, technically, Kevin Phoenix Cochran III is not a commissioner.
No,
that's true. He just ran the commissioner off.
He's in charge of the network. He's the network VP, not a commissioner. Mid-Atlantic technically don't have a commissioner. He just does it whenever he shows up.
I'd like to say hi to Madison, David watching in Lynchburg. Dallas Baszler says, I believe we need Commissioner Dave back. Kevin never shows. Yep.
Hey, his family.
Yep. Gerald Hicks finally got back to the show, Matt.
I got a phone caller now.
Oh no. And Abby Sparks says she agrees with that, agreeing with the we believe we need Commissioner Dave back comment. So be careful what you wish for.
That's right.
But yeah, so I'm just interested, in the thoughts, the things that I saw it was weird. Like when I was looking at the Greensboro map, the prices of the platinum tickets seemed to average a little higher than they were for Greenville. And that was what was curious to me about the whole thing.
This is why I support independent wrestling.
This is why I don't, and that is why I don't like this show, the Collision show.
Why?
Because it's going to go against indies.
Yeah, they're not doing they're not hurting Vince McMahon by doing that show.
No.
They're hurting and it's not just the independent shows in the towns they're going to. It's independent shows because they'll broadcast this, I guess, live on Saturday nights.
Yeah, it's gonna be live on TNT. Yep.
So there's going to be plenty of people out there who's going to choose to stay home and watch, Collision to see CM Punk, whatever, and not go buy tickets to indie wrestling.
I think maybe at first, but if it trends like it did when CM Punk came around the first time, it was a big ratings boost for them at first, and then it planed off, and then it started to go back to where it normally is, around 800,000 or 900,000. But this is not Wednesday; this is Saturday. So
I don't know. I agree that it is. I worry about independence in that area. I mean, just I don't know, but then but then realistically, there are two different types of fans. And I sound like I'm back talking, but I'm just thinking there's really two separate types of wrestling fans. There's wrestling fans who only watch televised products, only watch names they know, shows they know, and that's it. And then you have people like our great Mount Airy crowds.
And they were wild Saturday.
God, yes, they were.
Jesus, they were awesome.
I heard rumblings in the gorilla position about how people had missed these Mount Airy crowds. And it's just, I think maybe it's just two different worlds.
I agree. Yes.
Well, and I think that there's a reason wrestling stopped being shown on Saturday nights in the first place. I think a lot of people on Saturday night, they want to go do something. They want to go see a movie. They want to go watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want
I hope
to.
that's the case. I hope you're right.
Sit at home. They sit at home all week and watch TV. They watch wrestling on TV almost every night.
Yeah.
During the week on Saturday night. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's going to be that. I mean, of course, there might be a few. I mean, and also there's DVR too.
Yeah.
People who are like, do I want to go watch live wrestling or do I want to sit and watch wrestling on TV?
Mm-hmm.
If they're conflicted, they'll more than likely they'll probably just tape the wrestling on TV and then go see the live wrestling.
And indie wrestling is just so much more affordable.
Yes.
And you're part of the show. You're a pivotal part of the show.
Yeah.
Even, I'm not just talking about I'm talking about any indie.
Mm-hmm.
You're there and you're part of the show, and it's a closer experience, but I just sometimes I don't think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is two different worlds.
Yeah.
Because I've been to indie shows, and I'm not saying any name. I'm just saying where people who are names or bigger on the indies come in to some indie shows and they just don't give a shit about them because they want to see the guys and gals that they watch every week or every other week or every month. That's who they care about.
Yeah, because I mean that's who they're used to. That's their regular stars. I mean, if you think back to the territory days, if you've been watching Magnum and Dusty Rhodes, and then all of a sudden they bring in they bring in Barry Windham, it takes a while for you to start giving a shit about him. I mean, it does. The familiarity. Here's what I think. I am, as you guys know that know me well, I love me some auto racing. And that's wrestling and auto racing are my two favorite things on this planet Earth, except of course my wife. But cover your tracks there, because this is gonna be on the internet forever. I don't want her seeing us 50 years from now and thinking that son of a bitch. Anyway, so there's Reagan, what you said about there's two types of fans is very true in auto racing. And if you follow NASCAR on social media, and there are definitely two types of fans. There's fans that never go to the track, that sit and watch at home, and they go on social media and they call in Sirius XM and they bitch and they bitch and they bitch about everything. But when you say, how many races did you go to this year? Oh, none. I do that all the time when I see somebody just going off the deep end about something. Like, really? Well, how many races have you been to this year? And it's usually 0. Now, when you go to the live race, right? Mostly you see some drunks and some fights. I mean, it happens. You know, you get alcohol and that many people in one place, it's going to happen. But most people are happy. Everybody's jovial, having a good time. You know, they're great because they're invested. You know, I've had to spend money to be here. And I think that's the same way with wrestling fans. However, I don't think that like where WWE, if they were running on Saturday night, is going to draw a bunch of families. I still think that AEW is kind of geared. I'm trying to find a delicate way to say this.
Marks.
The wrestling nerd, unmarried.
Slappers.
I'll say it, smart marks.
Yeah,
I'll say it, smart marks.
Or wrestling dorks, as I say. Because if you like, when I went to AEW in Charlotte, a lot of things I wanted to go to a match in Independence Arena because I hadn't been there since Slamboree in '97, right? So I just really want to go sit in a building while they had wrestling. But I noticed there's some families smattered about, but it was mostly like single guys or kids there with their mothers. And I felt so sorry for the mothers because they were like mostly sitting there reading books and stuff like that. But it's a different audience. And so I don't know. I don't know that's really going to hurt the independents at all. It might at first, but you know, it's
the only thing I'm concerned with is the people who will stay at home to watch it instead of going to an independent show.
Yeah. Why should I get up and drive down to Veterans Park from Galax when
I can just sit at home and watch wrestling on TBS or whatever for free.
Yeah,
that's my only concern. And by that, on Saturday nights, they're not just, like I said, they're not just hurting the promotion that's in the vicinity, you know, the ones that's right around where they're having that show. But there's people all over the country, maybe all over the world, that may stay home from an independent show to watch this show. And even if it is just for a while, it still hurts.
Yeah, if it was really compelling television, I might be afraid of that. But look, you know, I work nights. I keep wrestling shows on in the background to, you know, just to kind of observe because I think I need to be in the know, especially since we started doing this show about what the state of wrestling is week to week. And I will tell you that AEW, even more like WWE, it's rough sometimes. Raw is actually pretty good this week, which is rare. Because Raw is 3 hours, and usually it's like, you know, I mean, it just keeps going, man. But AEW is booked. It's schizophrenic, man. It's like, you know, a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense. It's all over the place. It's not as contained as WWE. Does that make sense? Like the TV just kind of all over the place, and it seems more wild and untamed.
I guess it's because WWE is so scripted. Is that okay to say? Like
structured, I would say.
Structured.
Yeah.
I mean, they have complete control over everything their wrestlers say, everything they do, and I think AEW wanted to do and not do that and have more of an old school feel in the beginning, where people were more in control of what they did themselves. And now I think it's just blown up. And it's just, they have a lot of they have a lot of people on their roster. I mean, their roster, they have people on their roster. And I'm not going to say, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch AEW. I don't watch either one. So my opinion is like, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, there's people that are on their roster that I don't know that I've ever seen anybody say they've seen on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, they.
I think that's the reason for the second show, because Tony's got a lot of people he's paying to do nothing. You know,
I mean, I follow Brian Cage like on Instagram because I was a really big fan of Brian Cage from Lucha Underground. And I know there for a really long time, he was very, very vocal about how unhappy he was with his TV time. I mean, he was very vocal on social media about it. And so was his wife, Melissa Santos, who did the announcing for Lucha Underground. She was very, very, very vocal about how they were underutilizing him. And but he was on there, you know, he had signed a contract and was with them, and they just weren't using him because there was no place to use him. You know, and he is a fantastic. I mean, when I was watching him, he was fantastic. You know, I think he has an ego, but like, who doesn't? But you know what I'm saying? Like, and is Sonny Kiss still on their roster? I mean, when's the last time you saw anything about Sonny Kiss?
Well, only thing I see on Twitter, people complaining that they don't see Sonny Kiss on TV.
And Sonny Kiss is fantastic. Fantastic.
I've never seen him wrestle.
He was, well, the reason I know him is from Lucha Underground, because a lot of the worker wrestlers that we watched on Lucha Underground kind of transitioned into AEW. And when we first started, well, because in the beginning we watched AEW. And then, but yeah, they signed all these people, and they have all these people on their roster that they just never use. And it's just insane.
According to Wikipedia, he's still there. But let me check AEW's website roster.
But yeah, like Brian, you follow him on Twitter, is that?
Yeah.
And so like, yeah.
Well, I think one thing I think might help the independents is the fact that AEW, it's all their shows are going to be identical. There's only so much you can do. So by the time they get to Saturday night, I mean, everybody's gonna be like, well, I've already seen everything. It's going to probably basically the same people, or at least a lot of people over and over. The storylines are going to be the same. I don't even know why they're doing the show other than just try to, who the hell knows?
I think it's just because they need to give CM Punk something. I think he's going to be there.
But does that mean that if we go run a show in Chicago, can we get him to debut on ours? Because that's the only time he ever freaking comes back is when they run Chicago.
Well,
that's his hometown.
Sonny Kiss is listed as still being on the AEW roster, but only has wrestled 5 times in 2023 in a record of 2 and 3.
There's some of their wrestlers who only work dark. I mean, and now they're going to have.
Well, dark is history. Dark is history. Yes.
Now with the Saturday, that's a shame, because dark was a good place to show off some of these really good indie workers.
Dark was fucking terrible, and I'll tell you why. It was a good place if it had been taken seriously to show off young independent wrestlers, which it should have been. But and I said this when Jay Malachi went on there, and they kept pronouncing his name.
They fucked him over, didn't they?
And he told me they treat all the enhancement guys like shit. And I'm like, well, that is some damn old backwoods, freaking, oh God, Tennessee, who owned the Tennessee territory that treated the wrestlers like garbage back in the 60s. He had a son named Georgie. I can't remember the promoter's name, but anyway, Bobby Heenan talked about that. But no, I mean, they
said, hey, by the way.
Hey, Tim, don't call during our fucking show, please.
I told him at one point, I said, hang on a minute, we're doing a talk show. I got something I got to say. He said, you could have freaking led with that when you answered the phone.
That's true.
So it ain't his fault. It is kind of mine.
But Jay Malachi told me they treated all the enhancement talent like crap. The Excalibur and Taz did not take it seriously. They laughed and joked through all the matches. There was like 18 matches on an hour-long show. Dark was terrible. And it did not do any of these independent guys any favors, because they all got the big head and was like, oh, I've appeared on AEW Dark. And they all of a sudden they think they're $50 or $75 guy.
We got an internet show.
Yeah, more than one.
It was.
But I'm just saying, like, in theory, it's a good idea. But like
Yeah.
you said, it's not. I mean, you have to be able to take it seriously.
In theory,
You know, why bother doing it?
Yeah, why bother doing it if you're just gonna? But I guess it's just. But I mean, but still, there's still some of their people that are on their roster who are their names who only showed up on Dark.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
To beat up the little enhancement talent that they brought in and you know, I'm sure they paid them well, but they didn't do them no favors. I mean, because honestly, you know, as a promoter, if you come to me and say, yeah, I was on AEW Dark, and I was like, yeah, I seen that. Your match lasted 90 seconds. So technically, I should give you 2 minutes.
yeah.
Because you just showed the world that you could get your ass kicked in a minute and a half.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm glad it's gone.
It was the worst thing that ever happened to anybody who went on there.
Yeah, so now they could bring it back, but it's going to have to be on Discovery's platform, which, if you don't know, Discovery owns TBS, TNT, HBO, Cinemax, Viacom, all that shit. You know, Animal Planet falls under that bucket. So if AEW does any additional content, it cannot be on YouTube. It has to be on their platforms. So they could bring it back, but I honestly, I don't think they should, because like you said, Reagan, in theory, it was a good idea, but it was poorly executed.
Because
And I think that
did do it pretty well was when TNA did their open challenges. Do you remember that?
I didn't never watch TNA.
So I actually did watch TNA. TNA had a thing with Al Snow as like the person, and they would have like an open challenge, and they would bring it. And I know everybody hates Joey Ryan. That's neither here nor there. But like they would bring on these guys that were just, you know, they were indie workers, but they're kind of bigger, and they would put them on, and they would let them work. And, you know, that seemed to work out very well. That was actually on the show. Like that was a segment on the TNA. Was it TNA? Yeah, TNA. I'm trying to think if it was after they became Impact. But I can't remember. But, you know, that was the first time I'd ever seen him, and he did really well, and they kept him on because he was so over, you know. But then, you know, he became very problematic. But
well, that happens a lot in wrestling. AEW in general is a great idea, but it's poorly executed. I think
and I agree.
That follows for the whole promotion. And I think it could be solved by one thing: if Tony Khan would just hire a booker and step back.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when somebody gets their tax refund money. And we had somebody was on talking about this.
Oh yeah, it was Chains.
And they get their tax refund money. They buy them a ring. They buy a PA system. They buy some stuff, and then they start running shows.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like Tony Khan is a billionaire's son, so he doesn't have. It's like he has his tax refund check every day. You know what I'm saying? Like
the story is Shad Khan, Tony's dad, went ahead and gave him his inheritance when he pitched the idea of AEW because he wanted to watch him enjoy it. And, you know, Shad is, I don't know if you've seen him at the Jaguars game in the playoffs last year where the network caught him sleeping during the middle of the playoff game, and he woke up when they scored a touchdown, and everybody's like, oh, that's funny. No, I've seen that kind of look on somebody's face, and that was the look of exhaustion. He looks like he was so tired and he works so much. Rick Diesel, you can probably identify with this. If he sits down in a chair,
I walked over there out of the office on me probably several times like this.
Yeah, sit down and get still for more than 5 minutes, you're going to sleep.
Yeah,
and so I think Shad is probably missed a lot of Tony's childhood and wants to see him enjoy the inheritance, and I think that's great, you know. But I just want to see Tony ask for some help because I think he needs it. And there are people there that I know and have worked on shows with, and I want to see them be financially successful. That makes me very happy. And right now, the best advice I can give those people that are there, and I'm not going to not drop any names here, I hope you're saving your money. Because I can tell you something I've learned in wrestling and in life in general as I've gotten older: nothing lasts. So, and I'm not saying AEW is going out of business or any of that shit. I'm just saying save your fucking money because you never
Well, and
know
the thing too is Tony Khan reminds me of, we've seen it for years and years. Somebody likes wrestling, they got money, they start, and this is not the tax refund thing. This is somebody has money and they love wrestling. Or for somebody in their family loves wrestling, so they start a wrestling company. And what's the first thing they do? They make themselves the biggest star in the company.
Or they blow their wads on bringing in The Rock to be at their store and things like that.
Yeah. You know, I own this thing. It's like Tony Khan. At Tony Khan, he has to come out every week. You know, that's a big running joke now. Well, what's Tony Khan's big announcement going to be this Wednesday?
Yeah.
That's because he owns it, and damn it, the camera's going to be on him.
Oh, he's paying
I
everybody.
own it, so I'm going to. This is how I make myself a star.
And I hate that it doesn't work because he has some great ideas. Like wrestling, as a wrestler who's on television, you should not be considered an independent contractor. You should not. You should not be an independent contractor. I completely disagree with organizations that are large that see their wrestlers as having to do all the stuff that they should have for having a job on their own. And I like that he tries to do that he doesn't consider them independent contractors, that he pays for like he pays for those things.
Does he offer insurance?
I thought he
It's
did.
hard to find the insurance to cover them.
So that I don't know, but I know that he does all the other stuff, you know, which is very helpful, you know.
I think once you sign a contract, you should, if you put your name on a dotted line on a contract, that should null and void your independent contractor.
Well,
Status, because if you wanted to go work somewhere else, they would stop it.
Yeah.
Or if you go on Twitch, I mean, that's just changed here recently.
Yeah.
Or OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, OnlyFans.
Well, OnlyFans, I mean, if you're sucking dick on OnlyFans, I mean, that's pretty much going to violate any contract.
That's not the only thing you do on there. Some people just like to show their feet.
Let's pull up onlyfans.com and let's put Reagan's theory to the test. Would you like to do that? Or do you want me to stop now while we're ahead?
There's some
I feel
90
like
Day
we've done
Fiancé
enough
people
with the
that are
Iron
on there.
Sheik
They
on
don't
this
do
episode.
that.
Yeah, let's save that for something later.
Okay. Oh man, you gotta sign up. Oh wow. The core workout.
Yeah, you won't get by with that one with the wife.
People. You're talking about the not famous people on OnlyFans.
There's plenty of 90 Day Fiancé people who tastefully just don't show their wieners.
Well,
tastefully.
There's two girls here shearing sheep. One lady's cooking. All right, okay.
There's some people that just sit on cakes.
What is she
in
doing
bikinis.
with that? What is she doing with that mule? Okay.
Matt,
stop.
Matt, pay attention over here.
Weird.
We're over here.
Weird, man. Okay. But Reagan was right. She was right. I mean, there is other stuff on OnlyFans. I mean, you can go on there and you can post free videos. You know, it's kind of like another YouTube. So, so if you're just going to show everybody how to make cupcakes, I guess, you know, hey, public service.
Oh my God, we've been off the rails tonight.
No, I think we've stayed on wrestling pretty good. It's just been some stuff.
Oh, we missed this is old. Never mind.
OnlyFans is about wrestling too here lately.
Yeah.
Well, we did a whole show about what's her name. You know,
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose, yeah.
Yep, we did a whole show about her, and I say that was one of the most disappointing things. But you know, they found a replacement for her on NXT. Her name is Tiffany Stratton, and she's not supermodel good looks like Mandy Rose, but she's up in those clouds. And she comes off as a real bitch. So I think she's going to be one of those people that they can, you know, that will be a very big asset to the company as an ambassador at some point. Yeah. You want to hear some more Iron Sheik before we go?
Oh my God, not if it says the F word, no.
I don't know. They put him up against the killer, what he thinks is the Killer Bees. And it's pretty hilarious. Let's see.
Hey,
My favorite thing about his thing with the killer bees is he hates one of them,
Yeah.
but not the other. But then he got them confused and was talking trash about the one that he didn't hate.
hey, Matt, how's this show going to affect the Roku feed
What do you mean?
with all this language on it?
I don't know. I don't know any rules about Roku.
Why
Oh,
would
really?
Roku have any rules? It's I mean,
There is a channel on Roku where they show women taking their clothes off.
Really?
You didn't know that?
what?
Yes. It's God, what is the name of it? It's been so long since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
you got to tell the listeners. I mean,
Well, I'm thinking it's God
Get
bless.
on the fence about getting your Roku stick. Maybe.
But now listen, if you get your Roku to watch it's got something about it's like what is them old movies they used to do? Quentin Tarantino done a series of them.
fetish movies.
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse.
Got something to do with like Grindhouse. And it literally just shows women taking their clothes off.
Well,
Now that is on Roku, but do not let your kids watch it. But when you get to Roku, you can get AIWF and the kids can watch that.
yeah,
Right.
and then when nobody's looking, you can switch back over to the channel where the girls. are
Yeah, because it's not blocked unless you block it yourself. Like Grindhouse or something. I can't remember what it is. I stumbled across it late one night.
Let's while Rick Diesel looks for the name of this channel, let's listen to this Iron Sheik confrontation with what he thinks is the Killer Bees. I think it was hilarious.
You to tell them this is the Killer Bees. They just signed a deal. Are they there?
And
Right, there they are. Hold on. Hello?
oh, wow.
Wait, let me see. Oh, there they are.
Hey, Brian.
Be Brian Blair, Sheik. I've heard your shit talking.
Well, it's true, because if it was not from your partner, Jim Brunzeller, and if it was not from Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I had you in the camel clutch, punch you down, Silverdome, 93,000 people,
We
all
beat you.
ready to break your back and fuck your ass, make you humble, but you lucky Hacksaw Jim Duggan come save you, you little cocksucker.
You're the cocksucker. Your mustache smells like Nikolai Volkov's asshole. We beat you at WrestleMania 3 square and fair, right, Jumpin' Jim?
You're a fucking woman, Sheik. Let me tell you that much. I'm going to take your turban, wear it as a skirt, come in it, and wipe your fucking face with it.
Yeah!
Jim Brunzeller, you from Minnesota. You remember I used to beat the fuck out of you in the training camp?
I
you
fucking raped you in the locker room at Madison Square Garden, you piece
Jim
of shit.
Brunzeller,
Ryan,
you annoying cocksucker, both of you.
You licked his asshole.
Get the fuck out.
All right, get out of here.
Reagan.
The worst thing was, you're from Minnesota.
Reagan, do not put this one on your Facebook.
I took it off earlier. I had
Okay.
shared it and I deleted it.
And it is the Grindhouse channel on Roku.
Grindhouse channel.
You
on
know,
Roku.
I hate Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Why? Oh, because
Okay.
it's Starcade 97.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell them this
because
story.
he ruined my view at Starcade 97, 98, 97?
97
yeah,
Sting and
97.
Hogan. Yeah.
Sting and Hogan, first huge pay-per-view I've ever been in my whole life. Whole life. Went to Washington, D.C., took Vera's brother, took my nephew Andrew, took my grandmother who had Alzheimer's and had to get her a babysitter at the hotel. Went there, was super excited, had decent seats, and he stood there the whole time with that fucking flag and waved it the whole fucking show.
Now,
Could not see anything.
yeah. So you were sitting on the floor.
Easy, Sheik. Oh, God.
This is relevant.
Oh,
because
there's also a channel called Grindhouse Grit.
But yeah, so
What have we
ruined it.
done tonight?
Describe where you were sitting and
Okay,
why he was
so-
there and what was going
Okay,
on.
so we were so in Starcade 97, the whole back. So here's the ring. The ring was, in the center, and the seats that were towards the entrance were full of WCW mid-card-ish, jobber-ish people.
People that weren't on
And
that card.
that were not on that card. And so we were on where the section that's kind of diagonal from the floor, I guess is the best way to say it, like the riser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like 4 rows there. And so we were like on the second row of that. And we were kind of in the corner. So like we had a pretty good view to the ring. My mama spent a lot of money on those tickets, a lot of money, because that was the biggest pay-per-view of WCW's history that year.
Yes, it was. And they had been building that Sting and Hogan match for over a year, almost a year and a half. Because that whole thing started in July of 96 when Hogan turned bad.
So it was the whole point was this was Sting's very first match as the Crow. Well, that's the Crow Sting, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this was his first match. First of all, it's the whole pay-per-view is terrible. It's a terrible pay-per-view. And then we couldn't get floor seats because they had been given to all the mid-carders.
Mm-hmm.
And so Hacksaw was about 10 feet in front of us. He had that big American flag. And every 5 minutes, he stood up, waved that flag for about 5 minutes, and said ho the whole time for my entire Starcade show.
Yeah. Well,
I was furious. And I've said to this day that I hate Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Because it's his fault. Because if you go back, it's his fault Steve Austin left. Because he had a job to Hacksaw instead of Ricky Steamboat. And then Hacksaw ruined my Starcade.
Well, I mean, that really wasn't Hacksaw's fault. Steamboat hurt his neck and had to retire. I mean, but you know.
No, not gonna do it. No, it was ruined.
I can see your hatred of him for that because of didn't anybody ask him to sit down?
No, and everybody else was fine. Like they just sat there and watched the show, and then was like, you know, they were louder than usual. You know, I did see something funny. The Barbarian had come back and he had like 5 or 6 beers, and the person who worked at the Coliseum wouldn't let him come and sit down. He's like, no, and he had to get Van Hammer to vouch for him. He's like, no, that's the Barbarian. And then he went and sat down. That was the only highlight of the whole thing. But yeah, Hacksaw.
Has anybody noticed that Bobby Fulton is promoting his son who looks like Alex Rinoff?
No, I hadn't seen that. I know Bobby runs shows up in Chillicothe, Ohio. But he only runs.
It's him and the frumpy one that cons everybody, and then there's this tall kid standing beside him. And I think they're saying that's his son too. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. But at first time I seen him, I was like, yeah, I think that's Alex Rinoff's son. I mean, not him. Alex Wright.
Alex Wright. Oh,
all right. I got my right. Yeah. That dude. I got my Alexes mixed up.
Das Wunderkind.
Yeah, Alex Wright. I think that's his real daddy.
That might be. Whatever happened to Alex Wright anyway? It's doing.
Broke a hip.
No, he runs a wrestling school in Germany.
Oh, does he?
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Or a dancing school.
He's a good technical wrestler. They just gave him a terrible gimmick.
No,
it was bad.
You can't.
I remember the girls loved him. I went to a live WCW event.
He showed very well in his tights.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, he had the abs, that's for sure.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I took a girl to a WCW house show in Roanoke that year, and Alex Wright was on the card. And when his music hit, I looked at her and I was like, I think you're gonna really like this guy. Like that. And I would like to just publicly say thank you, Alex Wright, for the way that evening ended. So you know,
we're going to have an X rating on this show.
But you know, it's a joke I've been wanting to tell for years. So why not?
That's another thing that's sad about, like, you don't have the access, like not in that case. So like, I just think you don't have the access to big professional wrestlers anymore, like you did back in the late 90s. Like, you know.
Yeah, but y'all were hotel stalkers. Tell the truth.
Okay, we were hotel stalkers, yes. Yes.
I did that one time with y'all and I felt so guilty about it. I never did it again.
But I'm going to tell you, if I had not done that, if I had not gone to that Adams Mart that night to stalk Kevin Nash, I never would have met the bodyguard, and then I never would have met Brian. And then, so
Yeah.
it led us down the correct path of life. But no, we weren't.
Wait a minute. Was Brian stalking Kevin Nash?
Okay, so
Okay.
this is such a boring fucking story if you don't know anybody. So we would find out where, I don't know how we found out where they were staying. Maybe the internet just
Vera
started.
probably had something to do with it.
Oh,
And
yeah, I'm sure Vera sniffed it out. She
and
probably called all the
so,
hotels.
We went to the Adams Mark and they were all there, like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Juventud Guerrera, Sting,
Billy
Buff
Kidman was there, I
Bagwell.
hear.
Huh?
Billy Kidman was there, I hear.
Billy Kidman, who stole somebody's 20.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Oh, okay.
I just
yes.
knew the other part of the story, you know.
No, well, apparently that part involves that person having a 50 stolen by Kidman.
Wow. Oh, that sucks. Oh man.
Yeah. So, but no, and so what we did, I don't know if that was the first one of the set, because we went twice. There was another show, and they were there, and that's where we met the bodyguard, or Chris Nelson, and he invited us to come and watch him wrestle at the show in Martinsville at the veggie plate,
At the produce stand. Oh,
the
P&D
produce stand.
God, I love running shows there.
And then so we went there, and then the next one we went to was the Pizza Hut show.
Oh, I remember that one. Woo.
And then the rest is history. So that's how I started in AIWF as a person who followed the men around.
Yeah.
My mother just yelled from my bedroom, ring rat.
Y'all owned it though. You guys owned it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I transitioned into the ring. So
yeah, she actually.
But I was thinking the other day when we were talking about camera people, I was like, I wish we had 3 young dumb girls who would do anything to be around wrestlers to run our cameras.
Well, that's a problem. Is wrestling has become such a niche thing right now. There's not. I mean, just the girls that come to the show are the girls that come to the show. It's not like it was in the mid 80s or even the mid 90s.
Yeah, there ain't no rats. There ain't no real rats no more.
No.
I was not a rat. I
will say this: in my older age, I'm not as big a fan of that terminology as I used to be, because you should be grateful for anyone in your life that finds you sexually appealing in any way, and should never call them names. Everybody, that's for everybody out there.
I don't kink shame anymore. I don't kink shame.
I mean, I'm not giving you grand license to go out there and be some kind of sexual deviant, but still, you should be grateful for anybody that shows you that kind of attention. But so anyway, and that's for everybody out there. Rick Diesel, you look really nervous. No? Okay. Let's I still got 2 spots to read.
Oh my God, it's 8:22.
I know.
All right. So hang with us, folks. Hang with us.
We still got we have 7 people watching, and I have no idea why. So.
Well, the good thing is that if you're not watching it live, you can pause it and come back and watch more later.
Yes. Yep. Let me tell you about Branch Management real quick. They're a tree service that operates in Mount Airy, Surrey County area. They can help with branches that are maybe too close to structures, normal pruning, complete tree removal. They offer very competitive rates. Here to serve you, and as you can see, they'll help trim branches, prune, get those limbs around power lines, take down the whole tree if you need to. But they are available to help you out, and all you got to do is give them a call at 336-648-9282 or 336-320-8994. You could also be eligible for a $100 referral bonus if you recommend them to a friend. So if you got if you're having some tree issues, you don't want to let trees get wild. It's healthy for them to be pruned every few years. So keep your trees happy and healthy and less likely to be blown over during a thunderstorm and causing some real problems.
Trim
by
that
getting
bush.
into,
Trim that bush.
yes, always. This isn't a Manscaped commercial.
Quit.
336-648-9282, 336-320-8994. They also do landscaping, pressure washing, general contracting, gutter cleaning. 336-648-2487. That's for the landscaping services. 336-648-2487. That's Branch Management, our first sponsor, and we really appreciate them. And now the most delicious concessions in all of wrestling. Prove me
Which,
wrong.
by the way, I have news about this.
Okay, talk to us.
Tease Treats, starting in August, is taking over one of the concession stands at the Surrey County Fair.
Oh, really? Like
yes,
one of the ones that we know of in the buildings.
Yes, in the buildings. Yeah, there's two there, and starting at the Surrey County Fair this year, Tease Treats will be occupying one of them.
We're gonna put everybody out of business.
Yep. I know where I'm going. Oh,
We're gonna try. We're gonna try to bring. It may take a little while, but we're gonna try to bring everything that we have in the food trucks to the concession stand. We just got to do some, some altering of some power issues and things like that because we bring a lot. But we're already talking about the milkshakes and the ribbon fries and all those things like that. It's gonna be coming to the Surrey County Fair, Fiddlers Convention, the car shows, all that stuff.
Awesome. That is fantastic news right there. I am so happy to hear that. And I'm telling you, that's why we say they're the best concessions in wrestling. Prove us wrong. Now you check out Tease Treats. When is the fair going to be this year? September, October?
Second week of August again.
Oh,
yeah. It's between it's the week before Deal with a Steal.
Man, okay.
It's like well, and it does suck, but it was an issue they had, a while back with the fair company that was working with a contract run out, and they signed another contract. When you sign new contracts with fair companies, you kind of get their shit dates.
Yeah, I was going to say it was
popular dates for a while.
But I will tell you this, I think that they upgraded as far as the Carnival company goes for that.
They did. That's why they done it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that Carnival company that up there was up there last year did a fantastic job.
Yes.
I was walking around going, God, man, they got so much stuff. I can see why they wanted to get with this company.
Right. But to do that, they had to take their, the dates that were available. Mm-hmm. And for a while, that's what they got to do. But their goal is to get back into September.
Yeah. Well, we hopefully they will. Anyway, Tease Treats, we brag about their food all the time. They got stuffed crust pizza now. I see a lot of people at the shows really eating that pizza up.
They love it. It is really good.
Yeah. So I see a lot of that. They got mini donuts, great desserts, milkshakes, and all that kind of stuff. They're available for any event, music festivals, fairs, athletic tournaments, street festivals. Although, did y'all go to the ground steak thing in Dobson this weekend?
No, had prior, but I will say this: the number 2 truck, the second truck we have, did set up a couple of Wednesdays ago in Rural Hall at a cemetery.
At a cemetery?
Yes, I was there. It was so freaking awesome. I was really hoping we'd have a couple of funerals so we could get some, overflow and maybe some of the people leaving. Yeah. But no funerals, but still did good, and we got invited back. So, yes, keep up with Tease Treats, watch on Facebook, stuff like that. And we'll be coming back to the cemetery in Rural Hall, hopefully maybe the 28th of this month.
I do not understand why in the world somebody would want a food truck at a cemetery. Can you explain to me what the thinking was about by your customer there?
I have no idea. We got the invite. We went, had a ball. Now, here's the interesting thing about it is what was really cool is right beside the truck right there near where the food trailer was, they had this little table set up selling funeral cemetery plots.
Yeah.
If you had any questions, need a brochure about where you want to spend your afterlife, they could handle it right there.
Yeah. Well, pre-planning is important.
Right. So you could get a funnel cake and a funeral plot.
Yeah, my wife is if you're going to go over there and do some shopping, you might as well have lunch.
Exactly.
But and you joke, but I mean, my wife's suspect of this, but I'm not so scared of the other side, and so I'm trying to get her to do those pre-arrangements with me now, and it's a lot of choices to make. That can be very time consuming, and you're going to run across lunchtime. I mean, if you're planning out the whole send off as well as the final resting place and the whole 9 yards, you're going
to get hungry.
You will work up an appetite. So
right.
For those of you who think this is turning dark, if you're afraid of
like
death,
Reagan. She's like, God will this ever end tonight.
I'm gonna have to hide this when I go for my new shoot job county.
You will this one. That's for
I
sure.
signed a thing that said I wouldn't do anything sketchy.
Well, that's why I don't tag us on these shows. So if somebody does a name search on Google, it's going to be harder for them to find this.
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm not going to share anymore.
Yeah. But this is our first week back at full force, because we took Memorial Day weekend off. I did solo last week. We had a lot of pent up energy to get out and a lot of things on our mind.
Yeah.
But speaking of energy, if you need some energy with some good sugary goodness, call 336-755-8204 for availability at T's Treats. Oh man, that food truck is really taking off, and it sure is good.
Matt Carter, you are the king of segues, brother.
Yeah, I try. I listen to a lot of radio and TV. I try to pay attention.
Grindhouse on Roku.
Grindhouse.
You want the Grindhouse and AIWF Network.
Yep. And whatever other channels you want to watch is your own business. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see that. God, we in so much trouble. This show's been great. Watch this be the one that goes viral, right? But anyway,
if it makes me money.
We're working on that. Speaking of which, we are approaching 900 subscribers on our AIWF Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And thank you for your support. Anything you can do to help boost those numbers, tell a phone, tell a friend, tell a wrestler, you know how it goes.
Tell a hooker.
Yeah.
And get downtime too.
You can go on there. If you search your favorite wrestler, you can go under the playlist, and you can find a list of all the wrestlers that have pretty much come through the AIWF ever. Like if you want to watch Brian Danzig matches from in the 90s, we got them. All you got to do is click on his name. They all come up. And so if you want to watch JAC matches, click on his name. They'll all come up. Clara, they'll come up. Whoever. Major Havoc. I do not have any good old boy Leroy McCoy matches yet, though.
Oh, that's a shame. How is he ever going to pay for all those Mountain Dew bottles that are in the back of his truck? That's a deep cut.
Yes, it is. Oh, mercy. Don't go.
I was not with. That's not. It was the bed of his truck that you can see when you walk by. Not that I know what the inside of his truck looked like. No. I had to. That sounded sketch when I said it, but
no.
Not until you started.
The best thing,
the explanation afterwards kind of went south.
The video that I hope you can find, Rick Diesel, that I want to put on the YouTube page to preserve for posterity. Not only when you guys attacked Sergeant Craig Pittman and the matches that followed that, that's great. We ran across that once already. But when the Family of Darkness attacked Rick Diesel at the Bassett Community Center and tied him to a truck and started to drag him across a field, and the good old boy Leroy McCoy was in hot pursuit, and he stumbled and he fell on Rick Diesel while he was being pulled by a truck. But it worked out for the best because the force of the impact of good old boy landed on
almost total lost the truck.
Yeah, well, it pulled the rope out of Brian's hands, I believe. So
but what's the
it
funny
didn't turn out well for me.
No,
he just told this story backstage
last night.
Yeah, really, that's ironic.
Yeah, I just told this story to some of the younger workers last night.
Yeah, well, a lot of them don't believe it, because I've told it to Parrish one night, him and Kaysen one night, and they were just looking at each other and looking at me like, No fucking way. You know, this guy's so we gotta
These
find the
guys
video.
have no idea how easy they have it nowadays.
We gotta find the video. I want to be able to,
I don't know where it's at. I know it's somewhere.
Oh, I know you'll run across it at some point. You know, I was gonna say when
Because we filmed it.
Yes, we did. Yeah. I remember we watched it right after it happened, and it was like everybody looked at good old boy and was like, well, damn, you almost killed him trying to rescue him. You know?
He did.
Yeah, I think Don Carson may have made that comment. It's like, I don't know what's worse, getting drugged by the truck or getting fell over by good old boy.
Oh, is he still alive?
I
Still
think
alive?
so. I think so. I don't. He had gotten married and moved to Roanoke the last
See,
time.
Rick and I had the same damn look on our face.
No, he's been married for a while. The way I understood it, he got married like around 05, 06, somewhere around in there.
Good for
There's
him.
hope for Smiley.
There's hope for everybody out there. There's a person out there for you.
Yeah. Smiling.
Oh,
Oh God, Matt, please take us home.
man, we need to take we need to take it home.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys for joining us for Ringside Wrestling. We'll have more news on extreme content as we move through the week. Keep an eye on our socials. We'll talk more about it.
When will they drop? Do we know?
It'll be this week.
All right.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on all the socials, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, of course.
I'm asleep.
We hope to have new content for you.
Okay.
We know we've got new content coming for the Roku. So and we got hopefully new content coming for the
Piggy
YouTube.
Banks on the Roku.
Yep, and hopefully some new episodes of Mid Atlantic Live for you this week, and maybe some classic stuff, depending on if the boys in the archives have time to fool with it. And then, but we'll get you some content out there. Thanks.
Matt, the drive.
The drive. Okay, all right, got you.
Yeah, because I would like for people to know that I actually wrestle, because there's nothing out there anywhere.
Are you sure?
I've never been able to find any videos of me wrestling.
If you check
so much
have you checked the YouTube? You've got a playlist. You've got a playlist. Yeah, I don't know if you're actually wrestling on it, but you've got a playlist.
Well, I don't want to be a manager on the playlist. I want to see the wrestling.
Well, when I get the wrestling, I'll put it up there. You know,
because Clara did make the comment that she was the most extreme female ever in AIWF. So I would like.
Oh, Clara, you're only 20. How can you?
Now I gotta look.
Clara, just to throw that out there, she said in the ring that she was the most hardcore extreme woman wrestler in the AIWF.
Well, I mean, she didn't say all time. She said, I think she was probably saying now. You got to give her the benefit of the doubt. She's only 20. She doesn't know any better.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Okay, I'm on it.
I don't want to. Man,
it is gonna slow me down on the transfers. By the way,
because there is a female out there that was the most extreme. But anyway.
Oh Lord, we've started batting at a hornet's nest here. So thanks a lot, Clara. Anyway, here we go.
I was gonna be quiet about I was gonna be quiet about it, but Matt, you kind of led me to it. So.
Well, all I was doing was pointing out the features of the YouTube channel. Let's see. I don't know how I get blamed for this. But anyway, it's your fault, Clara. You said it. But but in her defense, she's only 20. She doesn't know. I mean, she was not even a gleam in her daddy's eye when all that was going on.
They hadn't even poured that beer yet.
And on that note.
So we're going to get out of here, folks.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, it's been wild and crazy. Thank you for joining us and putting up with this nonsense. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night, everybody. Until next time, so long for now. And in memory of the Iron Sheik, I don't know what to say.
Hogan. Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan, man.
The cocksucker.
Yeah, cocksucker, motherfucker. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
God help me.